Fala galera, hoje estou trazendo aqui um vídeo teaser de alguns jogos que saíram de 2018 e 2019. Espero que vocês gostem, se inscreva no canal. Bora pro vídeo.
Like everyone's gone. What was the name of this place again?
Every town is like this now. Everything has gone to crap.
Swarm coming! Everybody stay focused! Don't let us down now! We gotta pull together! Barricade ready!
Get it together! Here they come!
Guys! There's a printer here!
Printing complete.
I was not put on this earth to die like a dog. Let's show these things whose planet this is!
From birth, the children of the North hear tales of the end of the world. A battle so great, the gods fall, and the 9 realms are consumed by frost and fire. But these tales are false. The gods did not perish. Now they say that mankind must rise and end Ragnarok. You may have survived vast and dangerous lands, crafted the most powerful weapons the realms have ever seen, conquered all manner of ferocious beasts, and proven yourself against the bravest of warriors. But do you think you're ready to take down the god? Ragnarok.
Hi guys, so a couple of years ago we stumbled over these amazing artworks by Jakub Rojałski that showed mechs and strange machines in early 20th century rural landscapes. We actually thought that was about the coolest thing we'd ever seen and that it would be the perfect setting for the RTS we'd always dreamed about. The chances of this dream coming true were pretty slim, but here we are. This is Iron Harvest, a classic real-time strategy game set in the alternate reality of 1920+. It's an RTS where the outcome of a battle is determined more by strategy and tactics rather than clicks per second or the size of your unit blob. A game with base building, a cover system and destructible environments. A game where strong single-player campaigns are more important than DLC and long-term monetization opportunities. So we talked to many RTS fans and we conducted a survey with over 15,000 participants and listened to our community To find out what you guys actually want from a modern RTS, we combined your feedback with our own ideas and came up with a gameplay that gives you enough time to explore all your options, come up with a plan, execute this plan, and adjust it on the fly if necessary. Tactical depth combined with player freedom. That is basically what the Iron Harvest gameplay is all about. But we also felt that there was something else missing in many RTS games, and you guys agreed with us in the survey. It's time for another really great RTS campaign. We've been hard at work with Jakub to evolve the world of 1920+.
Scavengers is a survival shooter co-opetition where teams of players compete while engaging in PvE combat. It takes place in a not-so-distant future in a winterized world where a cataclysmic event has led to this sort of new ice age, and then you have this mysterious disease that's been spreading through the world, infecting all life across the planet.
The challenge that we have as an art team is to define that intersection of beauty and dystopia. And we're trying to have a lot of down moments in the game. We're pacing it like a thriller.
We also have AI in an open big world that we have to fight and work together as a team to overcome. So it's a mix between PvP and PvE.
To be able to merge these two types of conflict and have them remain in balance with one another is probably our biggest challenge, but it's also the thing that gets me most stoked about the game. We're trying to present a large, rich, open world environment. This is something that we tried to tackle with Warzone and Halo 5, and that mode was really popular and very successful in terms of what it achieved, but we had a lot of limitations that we had to deal with. And so for us with Scavengers, it's really important that we're leveraging a platform called Spatial OS. And what Spatial does is rather than having to deal with the limitations of a single server within which you're having to simulate everything that's taking place within a game session, you're actually able to divide up that game world.
So basically you get smarter AI and you can use the environment as a more dynamic playground.
What Spatial really gives us the opportunity to do is be able to ultimately push a lot more richness into the world than we were ever capable of doing before.
There's a word that we use a lot here is that we call togetherness. And I think that is going to permeate through the company and with our titles, where we want to make sure players play together and build relationships in the games.
We believe in the idea that community takes adversity. That's our purpose at Midwinter, is to create that feeling of togetherness and put that into the world, and that's what we're here to do.
Not to get crazy, philosophical, but I think like in an age where digital technology has the ability to sort of pull us all apart and polarize us and segment us.
Am I really doing this? Moving so far away from civilization to be the man who will turn the tide of war when everything else fails. Millions of lives are at stake, and I have to save them, finish my work. break the code before it breaks me. Time is not on my side. Determination means everything now. For too long I've been misled, but the answer was there, right in front of me.
Demo is always a challenge, we know that by now. Our goal is to show as much diversity as possible, diversity of our gameplay features and cultural aspects as well. For these purposes, and also to introduce and explain our mechanics, we are creating a completely new quest line. So let's jump back to November when our work began. Our narration team comes up with a story of a missing person.
Depends on the kind of job that you're offering.
My husband, Harry Evans, has disappeared.
It ties together our gameplay features as well as that Lovecraftian lore. At the same time, our concept artists and level modelers start working on the gameplay area. The quest is designed to take the player across different city districts: Rich, Poor, the Harbor Zone and the others. At first, the plan was to put together a small separate map just for GDC, but we quickly realized we didn't want to make something we would never use in the future. So we agreed that the quest should take place in the actual city. The problem is our full map is far from finished. It already has streets and buildings, but is lacking those small details that make a city feel alive. To negate that, we decide to border off the gameplay area and spice it up a little, add points of interest, vehicles, landmarks, and of course our monoliths. So now we have a more or less finished and polished part of the map that we can use in our final product. Things are going smoothly. Obviously, different bugs and glitches keep popping up like crazy. Sometimes the hero wears two hats, sometimes a floating object stop being floaty, and don't get me started on strange collisions. But we always manage to fix them in no time. However, there is one big problem that we have struggled to sort out for months: lighting. In our previous demo we used static light maps and baked them into the textures. That was a difficult and resource-draining process, so in our game we eventually decided to switch to dynamic lighting. It works great, yet we still cannot pinpoint the right tone and colors that we want to use in the sinking city. To solve that problem, we reach out to professional photo artists in Kyiv. They help our team find the right color scheme, inspired by the works of Caspar David Friedrich, James McNeill Whistler, Gregory Crutzen, and other prominent masters in their fields. Also, during our numerous playtests, we realized something. Our quest line is intriguing, but very linear, and that's not something you'd expect from the developers that keep hyping up their quote-unquote strong and non-linear storytelling. So our writers put together an alternative ending. I guess you could call it a good ending.
Trespasser, you have 5 seconds to leave the premises. 5, 4, 3.
They say the time of heroes is over. That if you're different, you're dangerous. But I know the truth. The world will always need heroes. We just need to reassemble.
Dark Souls, a world wrought with despair and hope. In the seemingly endless cycle of death, one clean victory becomes a moment you'll never forget. Now you can savor your accomplishments anytime, anywhere for the first time on console with Nintendo Switch. Before launch, there's going to be a network test, so players can try the game. If this will be your first Dark Souls experience, welcome to a brave new world. Separately, the Solaire of Astora amiibo will be released. With it, you can perform the popular Praise the Sun gesture with reckless abandon.
Now, about part 2 of our field trip.
We're gonna need help.
Lots.
We thought the wall would stop them. We hoped the gold would freeze them.
We thought the army would crush them.
But nothing worked.
We're all alone.
And they just keep coming.
Pick up some groceries on your way back, alright? We're running kind of low, and don't tell Mom, alright, but I'm broke.
Son, while you're living in D.C., we have to set some ground rules when your brother comes to stay with you.
I've been patient with you, Aiden. We need those schematics by 10 a.m. tomorrow, or else we need...
Mark is your responsibility.
Come on, Aiden.
Aiden, this is your mother. Pick up the phone.
Aiden, pick up the phone, man.
Aiden.
Comes every night without fail. There are different people every time.
Let's get this done quickly. Get whatever the warden want and get home.
But I recognize them somehow.
What the hell is this place?
They're screaming at me. I don't hear them, but I know they're screaming.
You got anything?
Such hate and anger.
I hope you bastards are looking up once in a while. Those fuckers might be anywhere.
I don't know what I have done to them.
This place is so damn dark. Sleepers.
They want me to feel what they feel.
This is good, man. This is good stuff. It'll trade. Everything trades. Ah, fuck. To be honest, Eddie. Second! Keep your eyes on that door! Ah, shit, there's fucking loads of them!
Then I wake up. I'm not sweating or screaming. I'm perfectly calm. I just open my eyes and I'm awake. And it's not a nightmare. It's just part of me, who I am. I don't fight it. I just live around it.
What the hell?
You are a warrior. I can see that. You trained your whole life for this. And you have won battles that lesser men have called unwinnable, yes? But while you were sharpening your sword, do you know how I prepared for today? I learned. I know your language, your traditions, your beliefs, which villages to tame and which to burn. So I'll ask you once again, Samurai, do you surrender?